the season that this team was going to have a really solid defense, I don't know that any of us would have believed you as Schlittler climbs the ladder on Harmon for strike one. This is a team that looked really shaky defensively through those first couple of weeks, but they got the new arrivals and things just started to kind of click for them to a point where they went from one of the worst defensive fielding percentages in the league to one of the best. This ball swung on, stung to third. That's going to get fair down the line. We'll see if the hefty Harmon turns and runs for a second. He will, and he's going to be in without a throw as that ball rolls to the corner. So it's another one-out double for the Firebirds, this time in the third, and that'll bring up Jeff Costello.
Yeah, he had to put that ball in just the perfect spot down that left field line to give himself enough time. Not the speediest guy on the base paths, but made it with plenty of time even still. So power makes up for speed in a lot of situations, and Harmon, another case right there.
That will bring up Jeff Costello for the second time today. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out. We were talking about the batting title race a little bit earlier. One thing that I wanted to highlight, of the top 12 guys in batting average this year, 5 of them play for the Portland Braves. That is a nasty lineup as the first offering is in for a called strike to Costello.
Yeah, they are going to be a tough out. Regardless of whatever slump they may have been in the past few weeks, they're showing it today against Katuitt, and they're going to turn it on. I'll tell you this much for the playoffs.
No doubt about that. No matter who the opponent is in the West, you get the feeling they're going to be a little bit outmatched as this ball is swung on and sliced, dropping fast out in right field. That's going to be picked up on the hop. Correction, picked up on the fly by Kavanaugh out in right, 2 away.
Yeah, Kavanaugh, he was positioned pretty close to center to be able to charge in and make that catch. You know, he's got a lot of speed on him, but there's still a lot of room over to his left. If you're looking out from home plate, it's to his right towards that right field foul pole.
Brings up Luke Keyshaw, who was doing a little extracurricular stretching in the batter's box and actually somehow shook off his own shoulder guard, or elbow guard rather.
That's how you know he's loose.
I guess. Straps the armor back on and he's ready to go. Keyshaw had the double and the run scored back in the second. Schlittler once again looking for one more out. First offering to Keyshaw is a rocket out to left field. That's falling fast at the fence, and it'll be received by Jake Lazaro for the third out of the inning. So we will step away. When we come back to the fourth inning we go. Still a 1-0 lead for the Firebirds. You're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Mariners fans, Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, including new majors in sport and recreation management, graphic design, marketing, and computer science online at www.curry.edu. And now for the next 3 innings of play-by-play, I'll turn it over to my broadcast partner, Tim Foley. Tim, take it away.
Thank you, Tyler. It's the first time I've done that all season long, as we have a new pitcher on the mound here for the Orleans Firebirds. It is Zach Morris. The day is done for Nathan Florence. Went 3 complete innings, did not allow a hit, and only walked 2 batters. So, bit of a solid outing for Florence, and as expected, didn't go all that long. Of course, has been a reliever for these Firebirds all season, as the count here is 1-0 to the leadoff man, Carter Putz. So once again, here is Zach Morris, a guy who has appeared in quite a number of games for these Firebirds, and he's been a pretty solid arm, as it's now in a 1-1 count here against Putz. 150 ERA across 10 games, 18 innings pitched, 20 strikeouts to 10 walks, and just 14 hits. So not a bad stat line for the lefty out of Arkansas, as he's going to look to continue his success here for the Firebirds, facing off against a tough part of this Mariners lineup. Count right now 2-1 to Putz.
And again, it does feel like just trying to get a couple of different guys some looks in front of these scouts here. A no-hit bid through 3 innings for Florence, but they elect to pull him in favor of Morris.
2-1 pitch is going to miss outside. Carter Putz, pitch away from trying to get down to first base as the leadoff man here in the inning. Putz last time around was able to reach on a fielder's choice that ended the first inning. Morris kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss from Putz. This will load the count 3-2.
And we talked about some guys that could definitely, start to boost things a little bit, could start to settle into a rhythm here at the tail end of the season. You got to be careful that you don't have guys go the other way too. You don't want somebody to fall into a slump here during these last 3 to 5 games.
3-2 pitch is going to miss below the knees. This will put Carter Putz on first base, and Josh Hood, who got on with a walk himself last time around, now steps up to bat. No, it's very important you mentioned that, Tyler. You really want to keep everybody firing on all cylinders, because there's nothing more demoralizing really for a team that is hot all season long to just start sputtering at the end of a season, and you go into the playoffs almost a shell of your former self as a team.
Yeah, and that's really not something that the Mariners have to worry about. They do have so many solid bats to utilize in this lineup. But again, you want everybody going at 100%, and that's what Harwich is trying to work their way into as his first pitch misses up high to Hood. And you wonder if Hood's, maybe trying things out a little bit differently. He knows there's less pressure on him, maybe a little bit more patient here. Normally it looks like he's trying to hit the ball to Barnstable, but so far today he's been a lot more patient.
He has been. We mentioned it, his strikeout to walk numbers, not the greatest on the season. If we take a look at that, Hood this year, 29 strikeouts compared to just 5 walks he's been able to draw, and he's been with the team for the entirety of the season. So as he's got one already today, and he's got a 1-1 count here to him. Again, Carter Putz on first, Zach Preisner on deck. Morris shaking off some signs, finally comes set, stares over towards first, and delivers. Pop of the mitt, a swing and a miss from Josh Hood. It's now a 1-2 count.
And there's that big cut that we're accustomed to seeing from Hood, but it was on a good pitch. Fastball right up around the letters. I mean, if he gets a hold of that, we've seen where he can take it. Hood's one of the few guys you really think might have a chance to actually clear 434 out in straightaway center. That kind of Bermuda triangle that we've seen so many balls that have just been smashed, just die out in center field here at Eldridge Park.
Yeah, Hood, he's got some good pop to him. Slugging sitting at around 346. One-two pitch misses high and away. Count evens out.
And for the Mariners, I mean, this is also a great opportunity to start to string together some good offensive performances here at the tail end of the season and try to kind of go into the playoffs with some of that momentum. An 11-run outburst against the Whitecaps certainly goes a long way towards that.
And you have to feel good down the stretch, especially considering the teams you're facing up against as Hood flips one to short. Then a flip from the shortstop, David Marcano, barehanded back to Chatinier, got the lead runner Putz, but by the time the throw was made to Harmon, Hood was already safe at first. So That'll cut down putts and put Hood on first with a fielder's choice.
And that's the third fielder's choice we've seen today. This kind of seems reminiscent of those Mariners teams or not Mariners teams, but that Mariners team of old this year that got the guys on and then just struggled to move people around. Nobody has reached third base in this game through these first couple of innings. Still very early, obviously, but not quite the Mariners' MO with all the power that they have in this lineup.
Josh Hood was the closest one to get to third base. He was tagged about halfway to the bag. After he got on base in the second, he goes for second base, trying to slide in, and the throw eats up Peyton Chatagnier. He's unable to put a glove on the ball. As it's a 1-0 count, Mariners now have a man standing on second with only one out.
And sometimes people forget about the speed of Josh Hood. I mean, again, he is certainly a power bat. You look at his swing, you look at his approach, you look at his numbers power-wise, it makes sense. But he's also got a lot of blazing speed and one of the better defensive outfielders, or in today's case, infielders that you'll see.
Hood on the season, that's stolen base number 4. Of course, we mentioned he is a versatile player. He's played third, short, left field. Really, anything on the left side of the field, that is Josh Hood's wheelhouse. As the 1-0 pitch misses up high.
I'd have to go back and try to remember who it was, but the Mariners had somebody in 2019 that did basically everything other than pitch, catch, and play one position in the field. By the end of the year, I'll have to check with Colin as to who that was, but played all over the place.
It's important to have those kinds of guys, even at this kind of level, the summer ball level. As pitch comes in, misses up high, generally you get a lot of guys who come into these summer league teams, they are far and away the guy at their position with their college team. So to have a guy step in and really say, what can I do, coach? Coming in a different position night in and night out, it tells scouts a lot, it tells coaches a lot, and it certainly is helpful for a player to learn the game from multiple different vantage points. There's a conversation on the mound between Michael Chavez and his pitcher, Zach Morris, breaks up now. Two of them talked it out as there is a 3-0 count facing Zach Preisner here. Harwich trying to get runners on first and second with one out for the second time. That pitch is going to find the strike zone now, 3-1. Each of the first two batters so far for Harwich have managed to get on base, a walk and a fielder's choice. Preisner trying to join them. 3-1 pitch. That'll catch the outside part of the strike zone. Zach Preisner thought he had a free pass to first. He'll have to step back in and dig in for a full count here.
See how aggressive he wants to get. He's got plenty of options. Obviously doesn't have to take a hack at this next pitch, but I wonder if he might try something. Knows he's probably going to get something in the zone here.
3-2 count to him. Morris stares in and delivers. Misses, ball 4. Zach Preisner will take a base. And this will bring up Brendan Tinsman, who got on with a fielder's choice his last time at the plate.
Yeah, no surprise there. Tinsman finding ways to get on base. He'll try to do it again, and the Mariners now threatening a little bit. Only one away here in the inning. They've got runners on first and second. Tinsman and Lazaro due up next.
And for Harwich, it's already starting to look like the same habit that this team's gotten into when facing off against these Orleans Firebirds. You've already left 3 on base across the first 3 innings. You want to start to drive some across here, especially with the potential that this lineup has to drive in runs. As first pitch to Tinsman misses, and the count opens up at 1-0.
That's going to chase. Looks like the pitching coach out to have a word with his hurler. See whether or not this ends up resulting in some kind of a change.
Florence, again, he's put each of the 3 batters he's faced so far on base. It was Carter Putz with a walk. Josh Hood then got on with a fielder's choice on a ball that was picked up by Chatagnier and flipped over to Marcano at second. And then Zach Preisner getting on just then with a walk. So second meeting of the inning breaks up here for Chavis, Morris, and the Firebirds pitching coach. It's a 1-0 count here still to Tinsman. And the pitch. That'll find the zone. 1-1 now here.
Well, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but just to kind of go back to it, tomorrow might be the final game of the regular season for the Harwich Mariners. They are scheduled to play Chatham on Wednesday, but it's looking like rain in the forecast all day. So have to see whether or not they can get that one in. Have to see whether or not any of the other teams can get that one in as well. That could have serious implications on that Western playoff race if things are supposed to come down to that final day.
Tinsman fouls one straight back, count now 1-2, and you're right, Tyler, it could. And we've seen it happen a few times this season where you'll have almost every game on the Cape called, save for one. I believe it was a Chatham game earlier this season against Wareham where they were one of the only teams that was playing on that night. They played over at Veterans Field.
Yeah, Chatham was the only team to play a single game in the Cape twice this year, and it actually ended up really hurting them on points per game.
Tinsman's going to foul this one over the Orleans dugout. Count stays at 1-2.
In case you're wondering, that last day of the season, Katuitt is supposed to be playing Wareham. And on the other side of that race for the last playoff spot in the West, the Falmouth Commodores supposed to play Bourne.
A couple of big games in that West coming up. As a heads-up play by Jake Lazaro in the on-deck circle. Foul ball from Brendan Tinsman came right at him, and he laid down the bunt, you could say, popped the ball up to himself and caught it.
Got those sure hands from the outfielder in the on-deck circle.
Tinsman in a lengthy at-bat here. He's fouled off quite a few pitches. Trying to find a way to get on base yet again. The pitch. Runners go. Throw down to third base. Safe. Josh Hood charging from second base was able to beat out the throw from Chavez behind the plate. And Harwich now with runners in scoring position, second and third, with just one away.
Yep, the double steal works to perfection there for the Mariners. They had the lead man in Hood able to reach third, and now you got two guys in scoring position. No chance for a double play ball. Tinsman with an opportunity to collect some RBIs.
Harwich still trailing after Orleans was able to put up a run in the bottom of the second. Tinsman, a little chopper, back to the pitcher. Play at the plate, Hood sliding in, and they will get him. Josh Hood sliding in on Zach Morris, who made the throw to Chavis with plenty of time to spare. And the first run of the night for the Mariners will have to wait as Hood is cut down. This does allow Tinsman to reach first, and moving up to third is Zach Preisner.
I mean, how many times do you see a guy reach base twice in his first two at-bats, and both times he gets tagged out on a ball put in play? And Josh Hood just ending up in the wrong place at the wrong time. And records the second out of the inning, as you said.
So now this brings up Jake Lazaro, left fielder, got on thanks to an error made by Tyler Locklear last inning, or rather in the second inning. First pitch to him is a strike, count 0-1. Due up next for Harwich, should he be able to get on base, Matt McDermott. 0-1 pitch is in for a called strike, and now Lazaro on the ropes here, trying to avoid striking out. Zach Morris still looking for his first strikeout of this relief appearance. Each of the first four batters have gotten on here for Harwich, but there are 2 outs in the inning and no runs across. The 0-2. That'll miss low and outside. 1-2.
It's crazy to think that this very Orleans team we were talking about in terms of they could still secure a spot atop the Eastern Division, but in do-or-die games, they go 0 for 4 down the home stretch here.
Yeah, it has been rough going for some of the teams in the league. But on any given night, anything can happen, and the Mariners currently finding themselves behind this very Orleans team as down goes Jake Lazaro swinging. First strikeout of the night for Zach Morris. We move now to the bottom of the fourth inning. Orleans still leading it 1-0. Mariners leave runners stranded at the corners. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park here in lovely Orleans, Massachusetts. Tim Foley, Tyler Henry along with you. Cam Schlittler back on the mound for another inning of work for the Mariners. So far to this point, he's given up 3 hits, 1 in each inning so far. And he has allowed 1 run in this game, just 3 strikeouts. Orleans at this point in time, they are leaving a lot on the table. We've talked about how much Harwich has left on the table, and so far 5 base runners through the first 4 innings. But Orleans, they've left 6 on base through the first 3. And they do still lead this game, but if you're Harwich, this could be a lot worse right now than it currently is, as the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed by Marcano. He's behind now 1-2. Marcano, last time up, reached on a walk. Trying to get on base for the second time. This ball skips in the dirt. Bounces right in front of us here. Back to the left of home plate. Count 2-2.
And, of course, just a reminder to all the Harwich Mariners fans that might be listening to this game here on the Cape, tomorrow is your last chance to make it out to White House Field, the final home game of the 2021 season, as Harwich will take on these very Orleans Firebirds. I believe it's 6:30.
Yep, should be a 6:30 start time as down goes Marcano looking. 4th strikeout of the night for Cam Schlittler. And once again, Schlittler opens up the inning with an out, but at this point it's about maintaining that, because again, after each inning, he's been able to record the first 2 outs in the case of the first inning, but he then allows runners to get on base, and innings tend to get a bit out of hand. Again, it's only 1-0, but Orleans has really loaded the bases so far in this game. First pitch to the new batter, and Michael Chavis is in for a strike.
Well, how about this? 4 hits in 3 innings for Orleans. Only 1 run comes across. Harwich has had 9 base runners. Not a single hit yet in this game.
But a lot of walks, a lot of fielder's choice. Harwich has put the ball in play. But as you mentioned, it's just been a lot of strange circumstance that has allowed them to get 9 base runners on without recording a single hit. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed again by Chavis. Now behind the count, 1-2.
Yeah, another strikeout could go a long way here for Schlittler. Just trying to get that first 1-2-3 inning of the day.
And here's the pitch. That'll miss inside at the feet. That'll brush back Michael Chavis. So it's an even count here. And again, Schlittler trying to have a solid lockdown inning. Trying to show what he has. And Chavis does go around on the check swing. 3rd strike is dropped by Tinsman, so the throw down to first is in time to record the out, and that is 2 strikeouts to open up the inning for Cam Schlittler.
And he's putting it together a little bit here. Second time through the order, he's actually looked a lot better. We mentioned first time through the order, 5 guys reach base. Second time through the order, he gives up just 2 hits. That's all that's reached on him, just the 2 base hits, one of which was the RBI single for Jared McKenzie.
And we are now back to the top of the order here. Jared McKenzie is up to bat, and as mentioned, did record one of those hits in this game for the Firebirds, 1 of 3. Orleans, they have a hit in every single inning so far. Trying to keep that streak going here. It'll be on the shoulders of Jared McKenzie. And again, Schlittler, a nice 0-1 pitch to put himself within reach of his 3rd strikeout of the inning.
Yep, and the siren's starting to wail again here. Lights flashing as a fire truck goes right behind us. And all the while, McKenzie takes a long walk around the batter's box before stepping back in.
You know, baseball players, you and I both know, Tyler, very particular. So no surprise, some extra time taken there as Schlittler winds and delivers. That'll miss up high above the strike zone, right about where it says Firebirds across the front of Jared McKenzie's chest.
Of course, Orleans rocking the vests, one of the better looks in the Cape.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Cam Schlittler strikes out the side. He's got 6 Ks now through 4 innings. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Harwich still trailing 1-0. We'll be back in just a minute. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to the top of the 5th inning here at Eldridge Park. Tim Foley along with you, and a new voice on the broadcast as Tyler Henry has been sent to go be interviewed on the WEEI affiliate here on the Cape. So in on the broadcast with me right now, a familiar voice to a lot of Mariners fans who have been to home games this season at White House Field, Chris Cassidy. Chris, welcome into the broadcast. Welcome as you make your Harwich Mariners YouTube network debut. And the count opens up 0-1 here to Matt McDermott leading off for the Mariners.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate being here as Matt McDermott fouls off the second pitch for strike number 2. I'm just happy to be a part of this. It's been a great experience on Cape this summer. Doing the PA the whole season has just been an unbelievable experience. I have to thank Elizabeth Layton for all the help that she's given me along this way. But yeah, couldn't be happy to be here.
Now as Morris winds, delivers, and down on strikes goes Matt McDermott. Swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 2 for Zach Morris. You know, Chris, you mentioned you do PA for all the Mariners home games this season at White House Field. Last game of the season will be tomorrow before, of course, the playoffs come around. And, you know, how have you found it to be, you know, in a league like this where you don't have walk-up music to be doing PA for one of the 10 Cape Cod Baseball League teams in this league? As the first pitch is swung on and hit out into center field. A sliding catch by Jared McKenzie. How about that web gem to record the second out of the inning? And we move along here. 2 outs quickly in the top of the 5th.
As McKenzie makes that great play, to answer your question, I want to say I'm very lucky to be able to do the PA for the Mariners. It's a lot of fun, and it's fun getting the crowd into it. You obviously being able to play the music, it's a good time looking over into the stands and seeing people bobbing their heads, doing a little dance, and having a good time enjoying the game. So it's a good experience overall.
First pitch to Chris Newell's in for a called strike. And Chris, you know, I have to say, you know, as biased as folks at home might think that I am, you know, I do have to say I think you have one of the better aux cords on the Cape when it comes to running pregame music. We don't always get to hear pregame music at every ballpark, and you know, when we do, it's not always a good mix. Sometimes it's too country heavy. Sometimes, you know, it's too much of any one given genre. But you mix it up, you keep it fresh, and you do an excellent job in that regard. So where do you get your taste in music, I must ask?
Tim, music's been a part of my life. My entire life, I should say. I love all genres, and you can't really go wrong with much, but it's a great time.
As down goes Chris Newell swinging. And that is a quick top of the 5th inning. We'll be back in just a moment. 2 strikeouts for Zach Morris. A very quick inning. We'll be back. Harwich still trailing 1-0 against the Firebirds here from Eldridge Park on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back at Eldridge Park here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. After a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Mariners, the Firebirds find themselves back up to bat. Peyton Chatagnier leading it off for the Firebirds. Orleans last time around went down 1-2-3. And again, Tim Foley and Harwich Mariners public address announcer Chris Cassidy along with me. Now, Chris, you've been with us for every game of the season. People don't understand, I don't think, that you wear a lot of hats, and we'll usually credit you for all the work you do, but you're a writer for the team, you're a producer for the team. You also, of course, handle the PA duties and music duties, so you've been around this team. As it's an 0-1 count here to Chatinier. Kind of give me your take on this Harwich Mariners team as they head towards the end of the season here. The 0-1 pitch misses down low. Like, where would you say this Harwich team should feel confident in, and where are some areas where you feel like they need to kind of shore up to make a deep playoff run?
Well, Tim, I personally feel that as long as their bats continue to stay hot, that's a big part. As Chatinier grounds it to shortstop, Preisner, who throws it over to Dylan Phillips, route number 1. I personally think that if the Mariners' bats stay hot as they have been these last few games, you mentioned the 11-run game last night against Brewster earlier in the broadcast. If they keep putting up numbers like that, it's going to be hard to beat them as the playoffs come up.
It certainly feels that way. I mean, you have guys up and down this lineup who are clicking at just the right time, and it's really been something to watch. As first pitch to the new batter, Chase DeLauder, in for a called strike, but there really is something that's just been so mysterious about. Initially, it was the Brewster Whitecaps for the majority of the season, where they were 0-4 going into yesterday's bout. As this ball's hit hard to second base, nice stop by McDermott, throw on to first to get the out. Nice throw over to Phillips, but an even better slide to the right as McDermott was able to record the quick out. And as this inning moves along, quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. But, you know, it's been Brewster all season long. It's really been perplexing for this Mariners team, and you really can put Orleans in that category as well. Harwich 0-2 coming into today against them, and they just had the 1-2-2 tie where they were able to get a single point out of the 3 matchups they have against this team. And so, again, it's Harwich is kind of falling back into that here today, where they're having a quiet day at the plate, and it's a low-scoring game where they're trailing against the Firebirds. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, you mentioned the quiet day at the plate, and Cam Schlittler is really doing a good job. Other than that 1 run, he's doing a great job of controlling the game, and he has 6 strikeouts on the day. He's gotten the first 2 batters out here in this bottom half of the 5th inning. So you look to see some great command as this game continues for Schlittler, and you hope the bats can get going for the Mariners.
Exactly, and I do have to agree with you. Schlittler looking a lot better. As I say that ball is going to plunk Tyler Locklear in the left shoulder.
Some tough timing there, Tim.
Some tough timing. You know, the broadcaster's jinx is real. I don't think you can convince any broadcaster otherwise. Nonetheless, the inning continues. Trey Harmon will come up to bat now, and beyond that, hit batsman just then. You know, Schlittler has looked good. You know, he retired each of the last 7 batters prior to just hitting Tyler Locklear, and that goes along with a inning in the 4th where he struck out the side. So this is important for Harwich to see him eat up this many innings as well, because getting guys to be able to go 5 is very important at this point in the season. As Trey Harmon currently facing a 1-0 count. There is an arm warming in the Mariners bullpen. A swing and a miss from Trey Harmon. We'll have to see just how long the leash is for Cam Schlittler, of course. Again, he has been a starter in the past for these Mariners. He's been known to eat up innings, and it's been important for Harwich to see him come out and settle into this game as he has. As a big cut by Harmon puts him behind the count, 1-2.
A game like today, Tim, you want to see this sort of build Cam Schlittler's confidence as this year goes on. Again, last 3 games of the season, he had a tough couple of outings his last couple of times out, I should mention, and he just looked very confident today. So this is hopefully a confidence booster for him.
Pickoff attempt over at first, and Tyler Locklear will dive back safely. It certainly is a confidence builder, I'd say. You know, we mentioned a bit of a shaky first few where he was able to record a first out pretty quickly, but then allowed a few hits thereafter. He's been fortunate just allowing the 1 run, and beyond the hits he's given up, his stuff's looked good as this one's pulled down the third base line. That's going to be fair. Coming around second is Tyler Locklear. He'll hold up at third, and on second safely with his second double of the day is Trey Harmon.
Harmon really showing his power here for the Firebirds with the second double of the game. Currently 2 for 3 on the day, so a good line for Trey Harmon.
Yeah, and hitting it in that exact same spot, too. I mean, that is just a sweet spot for him, pulling it, tucking it just inside that third base line, able to keep it fair and send it off into the corner. Again, we mentioned Harmon, not the fastest guy on the field. 6'4", 245. He's got that first baseman build, so really giving himself a lot to work with by sending balls to that part of the ballpark. This brings up Jeff Costello, 0 for 2 today. So now after the first two batters were each recorded out on groundouts, the second two have gotten on base. Tyler Locklear getting hit by a pitch, moving now to third. This ball's going to be cranked over to third, picked up by Wilkin, except that's going to be called foul. It was a well-struck ball by Costello. Ends up just drifting foul, and we will do it again.
This is a very important at bat here for Schlittler. It's huge that he gets this out. He needs to bear down and really end this inning so that the Mariners can have a chance in the top of the sixth to put up a run.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, it just seems.
Or multiple.
No, of course. I mean, it's just been perplexing for Harwich to try and score runs against this Orleans team this season. I mean, you had 2 runs in that 2-2 tie against these Firebirds. You only had 1 run in the second meeting of the season between these two teams, and then that opening day game that Harwich had here at Eldridge Park, it was just 1 run scored. So you have a collective 4 runs scored across 3 games against the Firebirds. A big swing and a miss from Jeff Costello. Count now 2-2, so you want to keep this a low-scoring game if you're Harwich, at least on the part of Orleans, because you're not quite sure how many runs you're going to be able to get. 2-2 pitch. This one's going to be struck. That's going to be picked up by Wilkin, except again, foul just in time.
That was Hood at third.
It was Hood at third. Oh, excuse me. Again, we cannot see third base. Difficult going here as the bat of Jeff Costello, it's put back in his hands. It was interesting. Tyler Locklear, as he tried to come in from third, actually threw the bat back towards the dugout. And Costello had to go back and pick it up with some help from Luke Keishel. But again, apologies. Josh Hood over at third. Again, we cannot see third base, but nonetheless, we'll be on top of that. Cam Schlittler trying to record the final out of the inning without allowing anybody across. This one's hit over towards short. Preisner picks it up, throw to first, skip to Phillips. In time for out number 3. A big out number 3 as no runs come across for the Firebirds. Jeff Costello gunned down at first base, and the Mariners get out of the jam. It's still 1-0 Orleans as we head now to the top of the 6th inning. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back in here to Eldridge Park. Tim Foley and Chris Cassidy is no longer with us as he has departed the broadcast. Welcome back in Tyler Henry. Tyler, back for making your WEEI debut. First pitch here to Dylan Phillips is in for a called strike. But real quick, Tyler, I'm going to let you finish. But Chris Cassidy, excellent job coming in relief of Tyler Henry for a full inning on your Harwich Mariners YouTube network debut. Excellent job in your debut. Now, Tyler, not a whole lot happening across this last inning where you were gone, as count now 1-1 here to Phillips. A quick 1-2-3 inning for the Mariners last time up at the plate, and then some excitement last inning for the Firebirds, but Mariners ultimately get out of the jam as Phillips swings on a 1-1 pitch, now 1-2.
Yeah, some good defense certainly being played on that side of things, and Harwich doing an excellent job on that side. Again, we've highlighted it, but really can't say enough about how far this Mariners defense has come.
As Morris, strike 3 swinging. That is strikeout number 4 for Zach Morris. Had 2 last inning, had 1 in the 4th inning, and he continues to pitch it well here for the Firebirds despite an interesting start in the 4th inning where he let the first 4 batters all get on base but did not allow a run. So now in steps Carter Putz. Putz so far on the day reached on a fielder's choice and a walk. First pitch dealt to him. That'll be taken for a called strike.
And again, I mean, that's kind of your stat of the day at this point, right? Harwich has had 9 base runners. They still don't have a hit yet. And that's kind of the weird number up on the scoreboard, but sooner or later, got to find a way to get one, drive somebody in. Only down by 1.
This ball's going to be sliced foul heading off towards the hill, and this is a guy, of course, we've said this time and time again, but you could say this about any guy in this Mariners lineup. This is a guy who you want at the plate if you need to get a single hit. You know, Carter Putz been doing an excellent job, of course, really finds his stride when he's at the plate with runners in scoring position, but even still, the game is all the same regardless of who's on the base paths, as Putz takes a big cut there and goes down swinging. That is back-to-back Ks for Zach Morris, now 5 on the game.
Yeah, 5 strikeouts, and he's struck out 5 of the last 6. He is cruising right now against the Mariners lineup that, again, is probably the best in the East, certainly one of the best in the league, and just trying to put it together. Always one swing away at this point from tying things up. If that's the route they end up wanting to go, and given the lack of hits, that might not be the worst idea in the world.
First pitch to Josh Hoods, then for a called strike. Count opens up an 0-1. And Tyler, Chris and I were talking about this during your media session over with WEEI. Harwich only has 4 combined runs against these Orleans Firebirds all season long. You had that 2-2 game, of course, scored 2 runs, and then only scored 1 run in each of the 2 losses that Harwich has had this season at Eldridge Park. And so Orleans has really been a mystery as much as Brewster and some of these other top teams have been this season. 0-2 pitch is going to miss outside. Count 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners have a losing record against 3 teams this year. 2 of them make sense, the Bourne Braves and the Brewster Whitecaps, who have been very good this season. And then you have this random 0-2-1 against an Orleans Firebirds team that has really been sputtering here to the back end of a season that has just been completely lost for them. But they've had the Mariners' number this year.
Josh Hood swings, but it's fouled back to the backstop. And granted, you know, a lot of these meetings came, in fact, all of them came in the first half of the season where guys are still figuring it out. You know, that opening night roster, I mean, how many guys were even on that lineup who are currently in this Mariners lineup?
Either way, I don't, if this pitch is fouled away by Hood, I don't know which way you want to go. If you want to have, I guess you're already flipping through the book, you might as well see. I'm curious as to how many guys the 2 of us could name without taking a look from the opening day lineup for the Harwich Mariners.
Well, I have a bit of an advantage because I recently went through what our opening day lineup was with Chris Cassidy.
Well, that's not fair.
As this ball is going to miss down low. Count now 2-2 here. Josh Hood battling back well after falling behind early.
And I'm trying to remember back to that game. I believe it was Nick Sinicola on the bump.
He was. He was opening day starter for the Mariners.
A game in which you almost got hit by a free swinging foul ball.
Another foul ball from Josh Hood. Yes, that was quite the introduction to the Cape League in my first media stint. Of course, Fans, you can scroll back through your Twitter feeds. Try to find that one as I nearly got pelted. Jumped out of the frame. I was safe, don't worry. I know folks at home concerned about my well-being at times. 2-2 count here. And the pitch. This ball is going to be sent up into the night sky. Playable in shallow left field. Catch is going to be made by Luke Kieschel. And that will end the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning, and that is now 7 straight batters retired. Harwich struggling to get on base at this point in the game. We move now to the home half of the 6th inning. We'll be back in just a minute. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. Tim Foley, Tyler Henry along with you. There is a new pitcher on the mound for the Mariners. The day is done for Cam Schlittler. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run, walked 1 batter, hit 3, and struck out 6. Brandon Walker, the righty out of Florida State, is now on the mound as he faces off against Luke Kieschel. First pitch from him is in for a called strike 1. And Walker, a guy for the Mariners who hasn't had the greatest of seasons, and he's got some time here now in the back end in some games where Harwich has a chance to see some guys, see what they have, to try and make a name for himself and get himself a spot potentially in one of these playoff games coming up. It's a 1-1 count. Kieschel so far on the day, he's got the 1 run scored by the Firebirds so far. Came around to score in the 2nd. We'll get a piece of this one, send it foul over towards the hill. Count now 1-2.
Yeah, we'll see if Walker can have, I mean, again, it feels like he's been looking for a bounce-back outing for the entire season. So it would be nice to see if he can come back and, again, maybe a little bit of redemption here near the end of the season.
1-2 pitch. Change up. Could not find a way in. Now 2-2.
And we actually thought Brandon Walker might be a guy who might get another start down the stretch. He got the start against Hyannis earlier this year. And again, it's just going to be really interesting to see who the Mariners deploy for some of these later games.
Very important to keep guys fresh towards the end. As this pitch misses outside. Count now full here to Luke Kieschel.
And again, this is kind of where Walker's had his fair share of struggles this year, putting guys away. He's got the 2-strike count. Now can he go finish the job?
And Walker's going to step off. He'll ask for the signals once again. Pitch skips in the dirt, and that will send Luke Keischel down to first. That's the first walk of the day on the first batter faced by Brandon Walker. This brings up the shortstop, David Marcano. Marcano 0 for 1 with a walk back in the second inning. Struck out looking back in the fourth. Lights are on here at Eldridge Park. Sky is dark. Fans still lining the hill. Still a very solid showing here. Certainly plenty of bug spray to go around. First pitch from Walker. Marcano was showing bunt, and that pitch finding its way into the strike zone past the bat of Marcano. It's an 0-1 count.
Yeah, this game is unofficially sponsored by Cutter and Off.
So there really was a lot of it in the air pregame. It's 1-1. That pitch misses up high as Tyler Henry now using some bug spray.
Do what you got to do here in the elements.
Yeah, no, you certainly do. I mean, I remember last time we were here to open up the season. Well, not the last time we were here, but as 1-1 pitch. Again, Marcano offers a bunt, but pulls back as the pitch misses down low. I remember the next day, just bug bites everywhere. Mosquitoes, they really, they eat it up. You know, it's tourist season for them is free pickings. 2-1 count here to David Marcano. Marcano finally gets the bunt down. It ends up rolling foul. Count will go to 2-2.
You also get the feeling on the other side of things, if Harwich can just get 1 or 2 hits, we might see the floodgates open for this team. But right now, they have really just had a hard time with Zach Morris, who again has been shredding this Mariners lineup.
Has not happened all that often recently, where Harwich has been kept scoreless for as long as they have been. You know, a lot recently we've been seeing Harwich score runs in the first few innings, and it was actually against Brewster just last week. Last time the Whitecaps were at White House Field before yesterday that Harwich didn't score a run until the 8th inning. That was the latest they've been held to a run as of late. Here we are now in the bottom of the 6th. It'll be at least the 7th inning before Harwich is able to get another chance at scoring a run. It's a full count here. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike him out, throw down to the bag is going to skip over the glove of Matt McDermott. And now going for third is going to be Luke Keischel, who slides in, but he is recorded out. A nice strike from Chris Newell out in center field to gun down Luke Keischel at third as he tried to make the run over to the bag. He's recorded out, and there are now 2 away with nobody on the base paths here.
And I don't know what he was doing taking off for third. Looks like there may have been some kind of another call going on there. And I think they're calling interference.
Again, couldn't tell you what happened at that third base bag. Don't have the greatest vantage point here at Eldridge Park. Regrettably so. Nonetheless, the scene is this. Again, after allowing a leadoff walk, as count here is 1-0. New batter in here for Orleans. It's a pinch hitter. That is standing in now for the Firebirds. Garrett Guillemette, catcher for Orleans. He's taking over in the spot for Michael Chavis. But again, the scene is this here. You know, after allowing a leadoff walk in the inning, Harwich is able to record 2 outs after striking out David Marcano swinging. And then on the errant throw down to second base, they end up getting the runner at third thanks to what we believe to have been an interference call. So bases are cleared here. 2 outs. And this is going to be a walk issued here to Garrett Guillemette. So now runner on first with 2 away.
Yeah, interesting call to bring a guy like that into a game like this, but Giamente comes in, reaches on the walk, and that will bring up Jared McKenzie for a 4th time today.
McKenzie so far 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a single. Walker looking to get out of this inning unscathed. He's given up 2 walks so far to this point. First pitch seen by McKenzie is popped up. Preisner over at short, settles underneath it, makes the catch, and ends the inning. The Firebirds get 2 on, but strand 1 as we head now to the top of the 7th inning. Harwich trailing 1-0 as we head towards inning number 7 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Mariners fans, welcome back in. For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. And now, for play-by-play duties for the final 3 innings of action, my broadcast partner, Tyler Henry. Tyler.
Thank you so much, Tim. Could be a short couple of innings if the Harwich Mariners can't find a way to solve the hurler on the mound in Zach Morris, who has retired 5 of the last 6 via the K. But he'll have a tough part of the order coming up here in Zach Preisner, Brandon Tinsman, and Jake Lazaro for the M's.
And again, Morris has really settled down since that 4th inning. Had a strikeout to end the inning and then proceeded to strike out 5 of the 7 batters to end that 4th inning.
He has definitely not been invincible as he gets a swing and a miss here to the aforementioned Zach Preisner, but you take a look at how he's settled down a bit, and like everybody else, I mean, Harwich still looking for their first hit here in this game. And like I said, as soon as somebody gets a hit, you get the feeling the weight is lifted off the shoulders of some of the other guys in this lineup. As this offering is chopped foul back towards the screen, that'll make it a 2-strike count here on Preisner. Tim, I have in front of me a list of some current but mostly former Harwich Mariners. I'd like to see if I can guess the starting lineup for opening day this year. I don't know if I'm going to get this right.
All right.
I feel confident that I can get at least 6.
I will be the judge in this competition.
All right. I did get the starting pitchers. This will miss low to Preisner. I did get the starting pitcher, Nick Sinicola. I believe returning Harwich Mariners, Hal Hughes, Corey Acton, and Pat Winkle were all in the lineup that day.
And they were.
Okay, so that is 3. As this ball is taken at the second baseman, but that's going to be dropped and taken into center field. Chatinier was right there, couldn't get his glove on it. We'll see how they rule that, whether it's a hit or an error. The Mariners are going to have a runner aboard here with nobody out.
And Tyler, you have to forgive me. Pat Winkle was not in the lineup on opening day.
Okay, in that case, it was probably Aaron McKeithen. And that is the first hit of the day for the M's.
Well, you take that if you're Harwich, and you have to hope this is a moment where you, as Tyler, as you've put it, the floodgates open up and everybody kind of collectively breaks out of that slump that they've been in all game long.
See if that transitions to Tinsman, who is the man at the plate now. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss for strike 1. All right, so if it wasn't Winkle, it was probably, as I mentioned, Aaron McKeithen.
He was in the lineup.
Okay, as the DH?
Yes.
Okay. Also believe Cade Beloso in the opening day lineup for the Mariners.
He was.
Nick Lucky.
Yep.
Okay. As this one will miss in the dirt. Count goes to 1-1. Corey Acton, already mentioned. Brock Wilken.
Yep.
Obviously. Mariners trying to figure out what they had there early on. Jake Lazaro.
He was not.
Okay, no Jake Lazaro. Josh Hood.
Nor was Hood.
Okay, this is getting a little more interesting. I'm getting a little less confident. Next offering foul away. That'll make it a 1-2 count here on Brendan Tinsman. Ben Malgiri.
Ben Malgiri was in the lineup.
All right. Press Kavanaugh.
Press Kavanaugh was not in that starting lineup. He came in the game. In fact, substituted in for Ben Malgiri, but was not in that starting lineup.
That's going to drive me crazy. So 7 out of 9 and the starting pitcher. Not bad. I have no idea who the other two guys that would have been in that starting lineup would have been. Do you have a school for me?
Well, here, let me see the list you've guessed again, because I'm having a tough time believing you missed one of these guys.
Hughes, McKeithen, Beloso, Wilken, Malgiri, Lucky, Acton.
Well, if I gave you a school, it would be a dead giveaway, because I think you're missing one of the bigger pieces.
Oh, no. Hold, please. As this one stung out into right field, but it's on a line. It's going to be caught by DeLauder out in right. He will throw it back in. It won't be enough to double up Preisner, but that is a massive out recorded here by the Firebirds on a line out to right field, and that will bring up Jake Lazaro. Leaves Matt McDermott on deck. I'm sure this is probably painstakingly obvious.
I can give you a hint by telling you two of the players you've already guessed.
Okay.
So Pat Winkle wasn't in the lineup.
Okay.
And Aaron McKeithen was the designated hitter.
So it's the catcher. Squaring to bunt, laying this one down. It's a little tough, but they will toss to first. Lazaro does his job, moves Preisner up into scoring position here with one away, and that'll be, or correction, with two away. On the sack bunt, that'll bring up Matt McDermott.
A big spot here for McDermott. Last inning had some clutch at-bats, drove in two, and now a chance again to drive in another run here for Harwich.
Oh, Tatum Levens.
Yes.
Okay. That wasn't as hard as I thought. I was definitely overthinking that. You know what? Honestly, that's not bad. 8 out of 9 and the starting pitcher from opening day, which feels like forever ago at this point as Matt McDermott steps to the plate. First offering to him, swung on and tipped foul. I think I'm going to concede defeat. Who was the ninth man in the lineup that day?
I really want to see you try to continue to guess. I'll give you his school.
Okay, okay.
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. That is considerably less helpful than I thought it would be. You say Georgia Tech, the only thing that comes to mind is Dalton Smith, which is obviously not the answer to that. Georgia Tech. Can I get a position? It's McDermott, squares one, lays this down. It's going to be charged in. Locklear picks it up, turns, and now he's got the man off the bag, but nobody covering the base. Preisner stays on third, and McDermott's going to reach on a bunt.
You have to love that for Matt McDermott. Just the situational hitting there, laying down the bunt and using his speed. I mean, that was really a perfectly laid bunt, kind of in no man's land, right in between where the pitcher and third baseman would interact. And so perfectly placed bunt. He's got the speed to beat it out as the ball was held onto and helped to allow Zach Preisner to advance to third. So Orleans has put some work in this game with 2 outs. You know, they've gotten a few hits in some situations, and now Harwich trying to get that momentum back in their favor.
Yeah, big opportunity coming up here. We'll put the festivities on hold for Press Kavanaugh's at bat. Kavanaugh is 0 for 3 today. Still very much in the running for the batting title, but he could use a hit here, and the Mariners could use one as he will pop this up in the air, drifting over back behind the dugout and giving the indication from everybody on the field. That one lands in foul territory. So again, we're kind of doing our best with what we've got here, but if you look off, if you're trying to look at third base, you've got the netting for the protective netting for the fans. You've got the pole that holds the netting up. You've got an axle keeping the netting taut. You've got the net that protects the guy on deck, the dugout, and whoever might happen to be standing in the on-deck circle.
In this case, Chris Newell.
All just to look at third base. Again, it's not a bad view, but makes it's challenge mode for us broadcasters.
It certainly is, you know, puts to test the skills we've developed over the years and trying to extrapolate what's happened given other body language and other exterior factors that impact the way people are moving and reacting.
0-2 count on Press Kavanaugh. From the stretch, the pitch on the way. And he will lunge at this and pop it right into the glove of Marcano at short. And that will retire the side. 5 up, 3 down. Nobody comes across to score. Tim, I hate to do this. I think I'm going to have to concede. Who was the Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket in the starting lineup for the Harwich Mariners on opening day?
Starting first baseman for the Harwich Mariners on opening day was number 24 out of Georgia Tech, Andrew Jenkins.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that wasn't happening. I feel a little bit less bad now. Jenkins, of course, did his part early in the season. And, well, as we'll take a break here. More Harwich Mariners baseball coming up after this here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Back to baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley as we get set for the home half of inning number 7. Due up for the Firebirds, it will be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Peyton Chatinier, Chase DeLauder, and Tyler Locklear. Not a lot of action in this game. Could be why our very own producer Chris Cassidy looks ready to take a nap off to our left.
Yeah, his day is done. Made his Harwich Mariners YouTube Network debut.
Really took it out of him. He's all tuckered out over there.
He's letting the fame get to him a little bit. We'll have to take him down a notch at some point.
Oh, man. Chatinier in. Next offering on the way from Walker. It's across for a called strike. Again, Chatinier, DeLauder, and Tyler Locklear. Harwich gets a hit on the board. Matter of fact, they get 2 of them, but they strand a runner 90 feet away. And something about this ballpark. I don't know if it has something to do with the 434 out to straightaway center. As this ball is popped up high in the air out to right field. Press Kavanaugh settles under it, looks up, and makes the catch for out number 1. That'll bring up Chase DeLauder. I don't know if it has something to do with the dimensions of the park. I don't know what exactly it is. But it seems like more often than not, the games here at Orleans have just been these pitchers' duels. They have been low scoring, not a ton of offense to speak of, and well, we're in for another one here today.
Yeah, it's really just been perplexing. You know, I mean, it's not like Orleans is lowest in the league in runs scored and runs allowed, but against Harwich, these are just insane numbers. You know, you've allowed, how many runs is that to this point? Just 4 across almost 4 complete games played. You know, your pitching staff rocking a collective ERA of just 9 against Harwich, or 1.
This ball chopped the first. It'll be scooped up by Phillips. Flips to Walker in time for out number 2. Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of uncharacteristic of what we've seen all year. And, you know, we saw with time Harwich start to figure out the Brewster Whitecaps, who had similar numbers through those first 3 games. But Harwich is going to have another opportunity tomorrow. They've got to find a way to get something going against the Firebirds because, again, you don't want to be stumbling over the finish line and walking into a best-of-3 series with the Whitecaps, which, by the way, if this score holds, if the Mariners can't come from behind and get a victory, the Whitecaps will have, in fact, secured the top spot in the East. And at that point, there's nothing to play for the M's over these next couple of days. First pitch to Tyler Locklear, misses upstairs from Brandon Walker.
And that, in a sense, that has to be a bit of a daunting task as this one skips in the dirt, picked nicely by Tinsman. You know, Harwich, they got the win over Brewster yesterday in a pretty decisive fashion, but you're still 0-3 on the season at Stony Brook. you know, the earlier start time, we haven't seen it really play out in favor of the Mariners this season.
Yeah, something about playing in the heat earlier in the day. You get thrown off your rhythm. You don't have your usual daily routine. You're playing about 3 hours earlier than what you're accustomed to, and having to do it on the road just makes it all the more difficult. This ball chopped back into the foot of Tyler Locklear. Broke his bat. He'll have to get another piece of lumber. I'm not saying this has anything to do with it, but I do find it kind of interesting. Look at the teams that have had the most success in the Cape League over the last 2 decades. The Katuitt Kettleers, who do not have lights, the YD Red Sox, who do not have lights, and the Brewster Whitecaps, who came from nowhere to win a championship back in 2000 and I believe 14. I'm not, again, it's one of those conspiracy theory things. I'm not saying that this has any direct connection, but you are used to playing those earlier games. Unlike everybody else in the league, you get home field advantage. It really is more of an advantage than it could be at other parks.
Because baseball is so much of it is just mental, and if you aren't able to set yourself up right mentally to start a game, it can throw you off by just that much. And baseball is a game of inches, really. Every sport is in a sense, but you know, baseball, just the single, just the slightest difference in your swing path on any given day can change the outlook of an entire game.
Certainly can. Walker brings home the next pitch. This one's going to be chopped down the third base line, but foul. And over on WEEI, those guys were shocked to learn that Josh Hood has played about every position on the left side of the field. Giving him a lot of credit as a third baseman. Had to mention that, of course, he also plays left field, center field, shortstop, about anything else that you ask him to do, aside from pitching, catching, and playing at first. Walker looking to get out of the inning here. 2 away already. 2-strike count to Tyler Locklear. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. That is strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for Brandon Walker. And that'll do it for the 7th. To the 8th we go. Mariners down to their final 6 outs. When we come back, you're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Back to the ballpark here at Eldridge Park. Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley as we get set for the 8th inning of action. Harwich will send Chris Newell, Dylan Phillips, and Carter Putz to the plate. And they will have to try to find a way to solve Zach Morris, who has been lights out since that first inning of work. Of course, he walked one, allowed one to reach on a fielder's choice. Another walk, another fielder's choice. Since then, he has set down the last 12 batters, including 5 big strikeouts, rather. Harwich did finally get a hit on him back in that 7th inning. Looking to replicate that success as Chris Newell watches the first pitch here in the dirt. And again, this feels like every at-bat feels like a big at-bat right now for Chris Newell. Trying to settle back in here. Next offering to him is foul, the way to even the count at 1-1.
Yeah, it's really just about seeing what he has still as he makes his return. I know we've talked about it a bit, but so far today, 0 for 3. And, you know, there's still plenty of time with the 2 games left in the regular season here for some adjustments. So you have to imagine some notes that are going to be applied to tomorrow's game against these very Firebirds.
Next pitch misses here in the dirt. We've seen a little bit less control from Morris as time goes on here in this game. Had great command throughout the 5th and 6th, even the top of the 7th, but has started to slip a little bit here. Gave up the single to Zach Preisner, the bunt single to Matt McDermott. Looking for a bounce back at bat. This is going to be taken up the right side by Newell. That's going to get past the glove of Chatinier, and it is a single here for Chris Newell. And again, that is exactly what you want to see if you're a Harwich Mariners fan. Leadoff man aboard here in the 8th.
Yeah, I mean, they started to solve him a bit last inning. You just talk about how this is now his 5th inning of work he's going on here. He's done good to this point, but you mentioned you start to get into innings 5 and 6, and things start to get a bit tougher. This is now going to be, as we're coming up on the 3rd time through the lineup. Once Carter Putz comes up to bat in this inning, he currently stands on deck, so Mariners batters starting to chat a bit about what they're seeing from Morris, and these past 2 innings starting to come to fruition just a bit.
That'll bring up Dylan Phillips. Big bat in the Mariners lineup. Fouls the first pitch he sees back to the screen. And again, you just feel like the Mariners keep inching closer and closer to driving in that first run here in this game. They're definitely not out of this, obviously, and just trying to find ways to get guys on, get them around, and bring them home. 3 hits for Harwich, all 3 of them in the last 2 innings. Nobody out. Leadoff man aboard here for Dylan Phillips. The 0-1 for Morris. Breaking ball, misses outside. Count evens at 1-1. You also wonder how short the leash might be for Morris at this point in the game. He has gone he's gone 4 complete innings already. They may have other guys they want to bring in. Guys they haven't had a chance to use over the last 4 days. As Phillips smacks this one out into deep left field. This one will hang up long enough for Costello to look up and make the catch for out number 1.
I mean, that's a really nice hit there. Of course, it ended up being caught, but you have to find comfort in the fact that, again, Harwich is squaring up these balls pretty well here. They're starting to see it well against Morris. And Phillips, a guy who certainly knows how to make adjustments, did a good job there, and this could be it as the infield comes in here on Zach Morris.
And speaking of adjustments, Kelly Nicholson comes out. Looks like we may very well have a new pitcher, and it will, in fact, be a call to the bullpen. So we will step away. When we come back, we'll have an update on the new arm into the game for Orleans. You're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry, Tim Foley. New arm coming into the game. It's the Arizona State product here in Nick Wallerstedt, who will make his 3rd appearance against the Mariners this year. And, well, through 2 appearances, 1 1/3 inning. But he did look good throughout, and he has become one of the better guys here in the back end of the bullpen for this Orleans Firebirds team. A 1.72 ERA for him. He's recorded 1 save, 20 strikeouts to only 7 walks, only 11 hits allowed so far this season. And he comes over looking to take over for Zach Morris. His first offering is a fastball swung on and missed here by Carter Putz.
And Zach Morris did a really nice job coming in place of Nathan Florence, who had a solid outing himself to start off this game. So Orleans trying to continue a stretch of pitching that's really been excellent for them all game long.
Putz stands in right now. Runner on first does represent the tying run here in the 8th. The Mariners down to their final 5 outs. Wallerstedt misses here in the dirt. Rocking the yellow Arizona State cleats. A lot of ASU representation here in this game. Wallerstedt on the mound. Of course, another ASU alum in the Orleans Firebirds broadcast booth right now. Gareth Kwok, as well as one of the primary writers for the Firebirds, and Cole Bradley. So a lot of Sun Devils around here. This next pitch is fouled back to the screen. It'll be a 2-strike count here on Carter Putz.
Of course, excellent school. They put out a lot of good products, except for one that I know.
I wonder who that could be. Putz digs in, trying to get defensive here. Wallerstedt sets, working out of the stretch. Runner goes. Throw is outside. Pitch or throw down to second. It's close, and they got him. Chris Newell is gunned at second. Hosed down by Chavez behind the plate. 2 away.
Yeah, it was a really nice throw down as they're able to get the runner. Newell, with his kind of speed, you like his odds of trying to make it down to the bag, but absolutely gunned, and he's caught at the bag.
So Putz standing in, 2 strikes, 2 away now in the inning. Wallerstedt's next pitch is spoiled. He'll foul it away back to the hill, and again, the crowd sticking around here at Eldridge Park, knowing that this is the last chance for them to see their Firebirds in action at home here in 2021. Also got an interesting note from Dan Duva, the voice of the Las Vegas Golden Knights, also a guy who runs the broadcasting operations for the Chatham Anglers. This is the first time in at least 15 years, as this misses low and away to Carter Putz, that the final game of the season in the East will not be between the Chatham Anglers and the Orleans Firebirds. Chatham will instead host the Harwich Mariners at Veterans Field to close out the season. So just kind of an interesting note there.
Yeah, tradition breaking for the first time in quite some time.
And you wonder if that 40-game season has something to do with it as Putz swings through this one, strike 3, and that will end the inning. Mariners down to their final 3 outs, but first, it's going to be up to Brandon Walker to try to keep runs off the board. When we come back, Orleans up to bat here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley. It'll be the Harwich Mariners in the field. New pitcher to tell you about. It's Matthew Pushert The righty, a senior out of Brewer, Maine, from the University of Maine, working with a 3-pitch mix, a fastball, a changeup, and a curveball. And he's actually been very good for the Mariners since arriving late here on the Cape. Really good numbers to go along with some good work for Harwich. And he is being tasked with holding this one-run lead, or deficit rather, and trying to give Harwich an opportunity to finish this game off with a come-from-behind victory potentially.
No, yeah, you have to like bringing in Matt Pushert in a spot like this, but real quick, credit where credit is due. Brandon Walker coming in, pitching 2 complete innings, not giving up a single hit, and keeping this a one-run game. Really, I'd say likely his best outing of the season we just saw here.
I would say undoubtedly his best outing this season as Pushert misses his first pitch to Trey Harmon. It'll be Harmon, Costello, and Luke Keyshaw. Due up here for the Firebirds. Next offering from Pushert misses upstairs. Orleans trying to snap what is currently a 4-game losing streak. That is just off the plate. Pushert can't get that one across. Count goes to 3-0. Gets one across here. Count goes to 3-1 on Trey Harmon.
Yeah, nothing too complicated with that 3-0 pitch. Just fastball, blow it by him, not messing around over the plate.
And that'll miss down and away, so the leadoff man reaches on a walk here. Trey Harmon takes his base for the 3rd time today. 2 doubles for him, also a walk. 2 for 3 officially. That'll bring up Jeff Costello.
And with the walk from Pushert, not something we're typically used to seeing. That's now his 4th on the season, but usually more of a strikeout guy. 10 on the season compared to what is now 4 walks.
And now a conversation being had between Costello and the third base coach for the Firebirds. Last time that happened, batter laid down a bunt. Wonder if some small ball might be employed here by Kelly Nicholson, trying to give his team a 2-run lead. On the other side of things, it'll be Josh Hood, Zach Preisner, Brendan Tinsman, your 3 due up for the Mariners, who trail it 1-0 here in the home half of the 8th. Costello stands in now, and he will, in fact, square to bunt, pulls it back, takes strike 1. Runner on first does represent a critical insurance run here for the Firebirds. Costello squares around a bunt again. Corners come in. It's going to be laid down the third base line. Picked up by Hood. Throw to first in time. And the sac bunt works as Harmon moves up to second.
Yeah, I mean, to perfection, really. And even so much so that there's quite literally nobody surrounding second base. An easy option there for Trey Harmon. Head down to second with absolutely no pressure on him.
It seemed like Harwich may have been content to kind of leave things where they were. As if they try to use the sac bunt again, it was actually Luke Keyshaw who laid one down, I believe, earlier, or tried to anyway. But if it ends up playing out, they could use that speed. And actually, correction, that is not Trey Harmon. There's a pinch runner in for Harmon, who is not the fastest guy on the roster for the Firebirds. So a little more speed out there in scoring position now for Orleans. At the plate, Luke Keyshaw, who does have a double today, watches the first pitch in for a called strike.
That's twin brother of David Marcano, Julio Marcano, currently on second base.
So both Marcano brothers getting in on the action. Julio standing in scoring position. Trying to drive him in right now is Luke Keyshaw, who has the only run scored of the day by either team. Good stop here by Tinsman.
Yeah, that's an important stop. You let anything get by you right now, it's likely going to be a free base for Marcano standing on second, and then you have somebody on third with only one person out.
And that's the thing, yeah, you don't want to have an insurance run 90 feet away with one out. Got to find a way to retire this next batter. Pusher looks the runner back to second, brings home the pitch. That's across for a strike. I'll make it a 1-2 count.
It's a nice pitch from Pusher there. Able to pick the outside part of the plate with a fastball. Tough read for Luke Keyshaw.
So looking to put away Keyshaw is Matthew Pushert, who's looked, again, very good since entering for the Harwich Mariners this season. Working out of the stretch, comes set, brings home the pitch. That'll miss outside. Count evens at 2-2. For all the fans that are here, it is a quiet scene at Eldridge Park tonight. Plenty of noise being made earlier. Seems things have cooled off a bit, as have the conditions outdoors. 2-2. That'll miss upstairs. Count goes full here, 3-2 to Luke Keischel.
Yeah, it was another nice pitch from Pushard. Off speed that just hung up. Stayed just above the zone. Couldn't get the call in his favor. But you do have to like the pitch choice there from Pushard, trying to put him away.
This does also seem like the right time to bring Pushard in. He'll likely won't appear in another game until the postseason, but he should be fresh for that, as reaching out and poking this into right field, but not high enough. Press Kavanaugh gets under it and retires Luke Keischel. No tag. 2 away.
And if you're Harwich, of course, just try and record this out and head back up to bat. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not Harwich is going to be able to come back, of course, but you know, it's about maintaining a confidence, and getting a quick out here to keep this a one-run game would go a long way towards securing any confidence Harwich may have going into the top of the ninth.
It'll be David Marcano trying to drive his brother in from second. You wonder if that's a little added motivation. So far today, David 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts and a walk. First offering from Pushard misses up and away. Start the count off 1-0. Again, for Harwich, this is not the kind of outing that you want to take out of this game. Trying to build some momentum heading into the postseason. And they have currently been 3 hit by the Orleans Firebirds. Pushard's next pitch, big swing and a miss to even the count at 1-1.
Pushard's fastball, really excellent. I mean, he goes to it and guys either just stare at it as it picks an outside corner, or it just blows right by him. He's got a lot of confidence in that pitch, and that translates really well to actually being able to deliver it.
And I'd say probably his best pitch in terms of location this year. We really haven't seen him put it in a tough spot. So he'll bring it home again for strike 2.
And of course, now you have a batter in Marcano who's seen it twice. He knows he has to be a bit more defensive here. He's going to try and time it, so we'll see what Pushard goes to, see if he tries to change it up on him.
A couple of Harwich fans starting to clap it up here at Orleans. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Strike 3. Matt Pushard comes up with the strikeout. His first of the day. That will retire the side. To the ninth we go. One last chance for the Harwich Mariners to strike for some runs. It'll be Hood, Preisner, and Tinsman due up when we come back. You're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley as we get set for the top of the ninth. Mariners down to their final 3 outs, only trailing by 1. This could all change with one swing of the bat here, as Harwich has put up just 3 hits in this game. It'll be Josh Hood to lead things off. First pitch to him from Nick Wallerstedt is not across. That'll miss low for ball 1. It'll be Hood, Preisner, and Tinsman. Lazaro if they can get to him. And Hood smashes that foul down that third base line.
And you got to have confidence here for Harwich because this part of the lineup here, Hood, Preisner, Tinsman, they've gotten on base in 6 of their 9 plate appearances to this point in the game. Each Hood, Preisner, and Tinsman twice.
This will miss down in the dirt. Good hold off there by Hood. Thought about offering, pulls it back in time. Count goes to 2-1. He already has 1 walk today, does Josh Hood. Also reached on a fielder's choice back in the 4th. He is the closest a Mariner has come to scoring, as he was thrown out at the plate on the fielder's choice. Watches this one outside. Count goes to 3-1. Things get a little more interesting here with Hood at the plate. Josh Hood got to corral the swing a bit here. Got to be patient. Can't hack at a pitch outside the zone. Wallerstedt sets and delivers this. It'll be fouled away, and the count is full here to the future member of the NC State Wolfpack.
Yeah, and they're getting a really good player in Josh Hood. Guy who has really drawn accolades from everywhere he's been and is looking forward to playing another full collegiate season.
And a guy that they're fortunate to have, as he was drafted, had the option. And here he'll watch this one, misses up above the eyes here. And the leadoff man is aboard in the speedy Josh Hood. Now the question becomes, how aggressive do you get with him on the base paths after Chris Newell was picked off trying to swipe second?
I think here if you're Harwich, of course, you've been struggling to score runs all game long, so you're tempted to play some small ball here, but you're at a point where outs are truly at a premium. So you want to try to have faith in your guys here, I think, and have them drive one another around.
Of course, 1 run is all Harwich needs to tie it. 2, they could take the lead, and then you never know who we might see come out to try to close the door. But for now, it's Wallerstedt. Misses his first pitch low here to Preisner, and his command has just not been what it was earlier in that last inning.
No, he had a pretty strong last inning as well when he did come in with the strikeout, and then, of course, Newell was caught stealing. Not much that Wallerstedt did in that regard, but it is getting away from him a bit here.
Preisner's been one of the hottest bats in the Harwich lineup, and this is going to be called strike 1 below the knees. That'll even the count at 1-1 here on the member of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah, that's a tough take for Preisner. I mean, it's a pitch that was pretty low, and he ends up being rung up on it here. It's now 1-1.
Even count here. Preisner batting from the right side. The offering. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. Good frame job there from Guillamente, who's taken over defensively. And these last couple, they've been close, but it's looked like the right pitches to take for Preisner. He just hasn't been getting the calls. See if he can settle in here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, the tying run stands on first. Nobody out here. Nick Wallerstedt, the pitcher for the Orleans Firebirds, comes set, brings home the pitch. Big swing and a miss by Preisner. They're going to try to backpick Hood. It won't be there in time. Second strikeout of the day for Wallerstedt. 1 away in the inning. Mariners down to their final 2 outs.
Yeah, just unfortunate there for Preisner as he waited on a couple pitches he thought he had a good read on and ends up putting him behind the count 1-2, and when he finally gets a pitch that he thinks he likes, ends up missing entirely with the bat. So Harwich now with 1 out.
That does bring up Brendan Tinsman, who's been good about getting on base. He's done so twice today. Unfortunately, both of them on fielder's choice. Watches the first pitch at the knees, called ball 1. He'll look to settle in here. Of course, the Mariners will face these very Firebirds again tomorrow, 6:30 start time at White House Field. Next offering in for a called strike. Count evens at 1-1 on Brendan Tinsman.
It'll be interesting to see tomorrow who's on the mound and how that ends up playing out.
Plenty of options, but yeah, you do wonder down the stretch here. This is going to get by the catcher. That'll roll back to the screen, and Josh Hood moves into scoring position. So the Mariners have a runner on second with 1 away here.
I mean, this is what you want. Take advantage of the breaks when you get them. Move a guy down to second base when you have a pitch that misses, such as that one did. So good heads-up running from Josh Hood. Ball came back a bit for Guillamente to try to pick it up, but really good jump on that ball by Hood as soon as he realized that thing was out of reach of the catcher.
Baseball here in the month of August. Mariners looking for a come-from-behind victory against the Orleans Firebirds. First pitch, or rather the next pitch to Tinsman, misses high. Count goes to 3-1. Guy with the best strikeout to walk ratio up and down the Mariners lineup this year, Brendan Tinsman at the plate. Does he have one more in him here? Wallerstedt checks the runner back to second, brings home the pitch. And that will miss inside. It's another walk, this time to Brendan Tinsman. And the Mariners have 2 aboard here. And certainly that's good because it does give you another guy on, but that also sets up a potential double play. That being said, pinch hitter coming in for the Harwich Mariners is Brock Wilken, who will take his first at bat in place of Jake Lazaro.
I mean, this is one of the best moves you could probably make if you're Coach Steve Engler, a guy who's capable of getting a clutch hit when you need it. So a shot here that Brock Wilken's capable of committing is certainly going to be big here. Good chance for Harwich coming up.
And it looks like a chess match is underway. Wilken comes in for the Mariners. Looks like the Firebirds are going to go to the bullpen. We'll tell you about the new pitcher in to face Wilken when we come back. More Harwich Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. New pitcher to tell you about entering for Nick Wallerstedt. It's the product of Texas, Jared Southard, who has been very good for the Birds so far this year. Has gotten roughed up in his last couple of appearances, though, Tim. Coming in here with a 4.5 ERA. He'll be tasked with recording the final couple of outs here. And it's not going to be an easy start, as the first man he will face is fresh pinch hitter Brock Wilken, making his first at-bat in this game. But to the Firebirds' credit, they do get a right-handed pitcher to face the righty in Wilken.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how this one pans out. Orleans, not the greatest track record right out of the gate when bringing in relievers in this game. Of course, Morris had an excellent outing, but allowed the first 4 to get on, and then you had 4 walks in the first 4 or 2 walks in the first 4 batters faced by Nick Wallerstedt. So now you have a guy in Southard with the numbers, as you said, Tyler, and should make for an interesting inning here.
Again, that 4.5 ERA, 7 strikeouts, only 3 walks. Brock Wilken, the new batter at the plate here for the Harwich Mariners. First pitch to him. Off speed, catches the zone here for strike 1.
And it really is an interesting move going to a new pitcher, because are you going to go after a guy like Brock Wilken who's going to take advantage of everything in the zone or be patient on everything that misses?
You really don't have that many good options at this point, and things aren't going to get a whole lot easier as Wilken, a little half-hearted check swing, fouls this one off down the first base line. Count now goes to 0-2 Tatum Levens standing in the on-deck circle for the Mariners. He will bat if called upon in place of Matt McDermott here. But right now, it all rests in the hands of Wilkin. One away here in the inning. Runners on first and second. Josh Hood on second. Brendan Tinsman on first. Both reached on walks. No hits in the inning so far. Southard's offering. And that is going to get him. They will appeal, and that'll ring him up. Out number 2. Recorded here by Southard. It's a strikeout of Brock Wilkin. And that will bring up Tatum Levens, who represents the final hope here for the Harwich Mariners.
Well, hey, full marks to Southard on the mound, coming in and striking a guy like that out, and Brock Wilkin. Of course, Wilkin coming in a pinch-hitting situation. Tough to get going as soon as you've been tasked with coming up to bat and trying to get a good look at a pitch for the first time all day in a tough situation. And now Tatum Levens tasked with doing effectively the exact same thing.
We'll see if Harwich can muster a little magic here in the top of the ninth. Down to their final out. Tatum Levens at the plate. First pitch to him. Fastball misses up and out. And here's where you have the handedness advantage if you're Levens. Facing off against the righty in Southard. You do have a runner in scoring position. Go ahead, run on first, tying run at second, down to their final out. And back-to-back pitches, fastballs that miss up and away here. And you can tell Southard, he doesn't want to load the zone right now. He's trying to be cautious. He knows the situation. He also knows what Levens is capable of. Tatum Levens has been one of the most dangerous hitters in the Mariners lineup all season long. Usually the table setter, now trying to drive the runs in. This one just catches the plate. Levens doesn't like it, shakes his head in disgust. But the count will go to 2-1.
Well, if you're Southard, you needed that pitch. You don't want to fall behind 3-0 against a guy in Levens who knows how to continuously work at count.
Southard's been inching that ball closer and closer to the plate. His next offering to Levens. Levens checked his swing. Did he go around? They will appeal, and they say he went. So that's going to make it a 2-2 count. The Mariners are now down to their final strikes, and the Eldridge faithful on their feet making some noise. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, 2 on for the Mariners, who trail by 1 in the top of the ninth. Tatum Levens at the plate. Jared Southard, the pitch. And this is going to be poked foul down that left field line. As the crowd on their feet, Tim, you and I are on our feet as well, but more for visibility purposes, I think, than anything else, just in case something does go down that left field line.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you don't want to miss where any balls go.
No, absolutely not. Levens trying to reload here. Took a long time to think about it. Steps back in the box. Again, 2-2. Southard's already gotten 1 strikeout to get himself out of trouble. His next offering, down low. Levens did not go. They'll check it down to the umpire. He agrees, and that's absolutely the right call. Only cocked his wrists about a quarter of the way. Pulled it back. It's now a full count for Tatum Levens. Press Kavanaugh standing in the on-deck circle if needed for the Mariners. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away here in the top of the ninth. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will do it. Tatum Levens and Brock Wilkin, 2 pinch hitters, strike out back-to-back, and that'll close out a 1-0 victory for the Orleans Firebirds. We will step away. When we come back, we'll be back to put the cap on it. Here from Eldridge Park, it's a 1-0 loss for the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back one last time. Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley here to put the cap on what is ultimately going to be a day to forget for the Harwich Mariners. But again, it does come at a time in which the Mariners have already clinched that second playoff spot, and things are set. It's all done in the East. Everything is wrapped up now. With this loss and with a Brewster victory, the Brewster Whitecaps have locked up the top spot in the East. They will host Games 1, and if it comes down to it, Game 3. Game 2 will be at White House Field for the playoffs. We know that it starts on Friday. Still a couple of games left to go, including one with these Orleans Firebirds tomorrow at White House Field. That game getting started at 6:30. But let's talk very briefly about this one. Final numbers look like this. The Mariners score 0 runs on 3 hits, no errors. They strand 9 runners on base. For the Firebirds, just the 1 run on 5 hits, 1 error. They strand 10 runners on base. Zach Morris is your winning pitcher today. Cam Schlittler gets the loss. Jared Southard comes in and collects the save. And overall, Tim, I mean, obviously it's not going to make a difference when it comes to seeding, when it comes to who's in, who's out, but these are the kinds of games, and these last couple of games do feel kind of important for the Mariners because if you're going to take on the Whitecaps, you want to be doing that with a full head of steam.
Yeah, it really, this game goes beyond just the trope of the season where Harwich struggles to hit against Orleans. We're at a point in the season where Harwich has the expectations that their bats are going to be here night in and night out, and they're going to be able to take advantage of a team like Orleans. So it doesn't bode well to not have a successful game here tonight at Eldridge Park. You can take it if you ultimately lose, but to get 3 hit by a team that is finding itself well outside the playoff picture has to be frustrating. Luckily for Harwich, they'll have a chance tomorrow to bounce back and get a win against this very team to help clear some of that bad mojo that may have surfaced after tonight's loss.
Yep, so that'll do it for us. Want to say once again thank you for tuning in. For Tyler Henry, for Tim Foley, for our social media manager, Colin Casey, taking care of all the live tweeting today, for our producer, Chris Cassidy. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Again, 6:30 start time at White House Field against the Orleans Firebirds. You've been listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.